Okay, so I was not planning on making this video today. Like, genuinely, I had a whole other thing lined up, but I keep getting messages from people asking me about LungZen and whether it actually works, or if it's just another one of those supplements that looks good on paper and does absolutely nothing. So I figured, you know what? Let me just sit down and talk about it properly because I have been using it and I do have thoughts. Okay, I'm in my mid-40s. I live in a city. The air quality here is not exactly what you'd call fresh. And for the past couple of years, I've just had this thing where I wake up in the morning and my chest just feels heavy, like I'm not sick. I don't have a diagnosis, nothing dramatic, but breathing never felt fully satisfying. Like I'd breathe in and it would just kind of cut off before it felt complete. And every single morning I was just clearing my throat, coughing, doing this whole little ritual before I could actually function. My partner thought I was dying. I'm not dying, it's just not fun. I tried a few things, did the steam thing, did the humidifier, tried cutting dairy for a bit because someone on the internet told me to. Nothing really stuck or made a noticeable difference. And then someone in a Facebook group, someone I actually trust, not just a random account, mentioned LungZen and said she'd been on it for about 6 weeks and her breathing during her morning walks had just genuinely improved, and she's not the type to hype things up. So I thought, all right, let me look into this properly. So I went and read everything I could find. The ingredient list, the research behind it, user reviews, not just the 5-star ones. I went looking for the bad ones too, because that's how you actually figure out if something is legit. And what I found was actually pretty interesting. So here's the thing about LungZen. It's not like some massive complex formula with 47 ingredients that no one can pronounce. It's actually built around turmeric. And before you roll your eyes and go, oh great, turmeric, everyone's been banging on about turmeric for 10 years. You stay with me because the way they've done it actually matters. The main ingredient is turmeric root at 600 milligrams. And the reason turmeric is relevant for your lungs specifically is inflammation. Because so much of that everyday breathing difficulty, and I'm talking about the non-emergency kind, the kind most of us are walking around with without even realizing, so much of it is just low-level inflammation in the airway tissue. From pollution, from allergens, from years of breathing in whatever's floating around in the air in a city. And turmeric is genuinely one of the most well-researched natural anti-inflammatory compounds we have. It helps soothe the airway lining, helps with that irritation. And over time, it actually supports tissue repair, which is why the results build up gradually rather than hitting you overnight. But then they've also included a concentrated turmeric extract, standardized to 95% curcuminoids. So it's not just raw turmeric powder, it's the active part of the plant pulled out at a really high concentration. Curcumin, which is the actual compound doing the work, has been studied specifically for respiratory tissue and inflammatory response in the lungs, and that's the stuff that's really going to bat for your airways. Now here's the bit that actually made me go, oh, okay, these people know what they're doing. They put BioPerine in it. BioPerine is a patented black pepper extract, and it exists for one reason: to make curcumin actually absorb into your body. Because here's something most people don't know. Turmeric, on its own, your body barely absorbs it. Like, it kind of just wanders through your digestive system and waves goodbye. BioPerine has been shown to increase the absorption of curcuminoids by up to 2,000%. That's not a made-up number. That's actually documented, and it means that the turmeric in LungZen is actually getting used rather than just passing through. So I started taking it, and I want to be real with you about the timeline because I think people expect too much too fast from supplements, and then they give up before anything actually happens. The first week, honestly, not a massive amount. Maybe slightly less congestion in the mornings, but I wasn't throwing confetti. Second week, I started noticing I was doing that throat clearing thing less. Like, I'd get up and just not immediately need to spend 10 minutes hacking. Third week, my partner actually commented without me saying anything that I seemed to be sleeping better. And I realized she was right. I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night coughing. By the end of the first month, I was genuinely taking fuller breaths, like actually satisfying inhales, which sounds like such a small thing until you haven't had that for 2 years. I've also spoken to a couple of other people who've used it, and the patterns are pretty consistent. Former smokers seem to respond really well to it. There's something about the way the formula works on accumulated oxidative damage in lung tissue that really seems to help people who smoked for years and are now dealing with the aftermath. Athletes and active people like it because it helps with endurance and oxygen efficiency during workouts. And a lot of older people say just daily tasks feel less effort, going upstairs, walking the dog, that kind of thing. The complaints I've seen, and there are some because no supplement is perfect. The most common one is that a small percentage of people get a temporary increase in coughing in the first few days, which apparently can happen when your airways start clearing out. Not everyone gets it, but it's worth knowing about so you don't freak out and stop taking it the moment it happens. The other complaint is that it doesn't work for everyone, and some people with very severe conditions don't see results, which, yeah, it's a supplement, not a prescription drug. If you have a serious lung condition, you need to be working with a doctor, full stop. The other thing I want to mention, and I think this actually matters, it's vegan, it's gluten-free, no GMOs, no fillers, nothing habit forming. So it's not going to mess with your system in weird ways or create some kind of dependency. It's just clean nutrition for your respiratory health. Oh, and if you're on blood thinners, you just have a quick word with your doctor before starting because turmeric can have mild effects there. Same advice any responsible person would give you. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is magic. It's not magic. Nothing is magic. But what I will say is that for me personally, and for a decent chunk of the people I've seen talk about it, LungZen has made a real and noticeable difference to just how it feels to breathe every day. And if you're living in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US, basically any place with decent sized cities and not so great air quality, that's not a small thing. That's quality of life. If you want to check it out, the link is down in the description below, also pinned comment box. I'll drop it right there so it's easy to find. I'd say genuinely give it a month before you make your mind up either way. 4 weeks, consistent, every day. Your lungs didn't get to where they are overnight, and they're not going to bounce back overnight either. All right, that is genuinely everything I have to say about it. If you've tried LungZen yourself, drop your experience in the comments. Good, bad, whatever. I'm genuinely curious to hear how other people have found it, like the video if it was useful. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you, my friends.